What's good, y'all? Episode 112, Deadass Dope Podcast in the building. Y'all already know Kel's here, Nisa here, Jay here.
You feel me? I like
it's been
that.
A minute.
It's 112.
That's it. It's 112. We got the peaches and cream ready. I don't know about y'all. Got it right here. Specifically for this episode, trying to keep the energy up. Since the last time we recorded, a lot of shit has gone down. It took us a minute. We wanted to do it last week, but I know Jay and I specifically just going through the different range of emotions that have been going on, especially, in our country right now. And just trying to figure out exactly what, where we at. And I think it's the perfect time, you know what I mean? Nisa has already dropped two episodes of her own podcast talking about it, Promo that real quick.
Go check it out. It is Sorry If I Offend You. You can find it on Anchor, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, most famously known, and a lot more. There's Spotify. So you can find my podcast on all of those apps. Or you could just go on my Instagram at __ who is that? And the link is in my bio. You can catch my latest 2 episodes circled around this topic of the shit that is going around in this world.
It's a big fact. And before I slide it over to Jay, we initially wanted to record, but like we said at the time, just trying to figure out exactly the mind state that we was in. But I'm glad that you got to the shits early, Nisa. So definitely go check that out ASAP. You know what I mean? We here now, man. Like we here. So Jay, talk to me, bro. Talk to me.
Well, initially, if somebody had asked me to speak on it a couple days ago, I would have gave you nothing but straight anger.
Facts.
And nothing but straight rage. And I probably wouldn't be able to articulate any words because that's essentially like looking at my little brother getting killed on the street by some 12 and all that extra shit. But I had the time to see and just listen to a whole a copious amount of people just come together and just fight for our cause. And so everything I thought about saying beforehand just kind of got disrupted with like this new kind of energy.
Exactly.
But I mean, if somebody were to ask me what words do I have on it, there's no real words I can have on it because it's just going to be a mixed range of like sadness and sorrow and excitement and it's there's no real words for it.
It's crazy, right? Like when you think about
it's really crazy. And as being a Black individual myself and knowing that we are still in a system of oppression, knowing that we're still looked at as an indication of crime, as an indication of a target for hate, it does unsettle with my soul and everything because my people, essentially, we continue to fight just so we can be spoken to. And I don't know, I'm getting choked up about it.
Nah, I hear you, bro. I hear you.
I'm not particularly all the way in the headspace because there are some things I did see today and some things I just reflected on and just man, I'm a little conflicted, but I'm hopeful. I apologize, like I can't seem to get everything together.
That's how it is, bro. That's why we're here to have this convo. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yes, indeed.
Because, I'm going to say this real quick and I'm going to kick it over to Nisa. But, we've been very vocal on this podcast about everything that's been going on recently, especially with the Ahmaud Arbery's, Breonna Taylor's. We was on this podcast like 2 episodes ago talking about this. And, when George Floyd happened, I had this conversation with Jay off the mic. Like, that was the straw that broke the camel's back, so to say. You know what I mean? So the whole country just exploded with just emotions. The protests happened. And you're seeing a response that you haven't seen in quite some time. You know what I mean? It's an incredible time that we're living in right now. So as it's going on, we spoke about dropping an episode, but number one, to me, I didn't feel like it was the correct time to be promoting my own thing. I think it was more important to be vocal about the cause and talk about exactly what was going on, in that moment. And like Jay said, we're still dealing with these emotions right now, bro. Like I'm with you, bro. Like I'm going to talk about my experience right after Nisa goes. But I just wanted to give y'all, just some understanding of where our heads are at right now. like I said, Nisa's been able to speak to different people and even speak on her own platform about it. So Nisa, talk to the people. We want to hear.
It's my favorite part. I get to talk. But
That's it.
no, like I agree with both of you. There's a lot going on, but like Jay was saying, I definitely see the light at the end of the tunnel, mainly because of the news that was released that all 50 states protested. I think that that's amazing and that's crazy because that has never happened in history.
On the same day, too.
On the same day in history that all 50 states, you know, mass groups of people of different colors, different religions, ethnicities come together and all agree on one thing: justice for the Black community and to be against police brutality, for them to stop abusing their power and murdering people. So, I mean, obviously it's a touchy subject. And the reason why I did want to bring it onto my own platform and speak about it earlier on in the past weeks were because I felt like it is a conversation that you need to have. I think I think it is important for people to continue to talk about things that are strongly in our beliefs. I think it's good for people to get out how they feel. Because if there wasn't somebody who initiated getting out how they felt, none of this would happen. None of this change will come about. So I'm sad that people had to lose their lives for America to really step their fucking game up and open their eyes. But at least their death they didn't die in vain. I think that we're all seeing the positive coming up from the situation. And also we're seeing how companies, music industry companies, you know, fashion companies, fast foods, restaurants, all that, we really see where their mind is at for the people. Even club owners. There was a situation with one of the owners of Franklin Manor in Tampa, that they actually were undercover racists. But keep in mind, Franklin Manor, 95% of their customer base is all Black. So now they lost a lot of their customers. I mean, the guy stepped down, but at the end of the day, if you're listening to this and you go to Franklin Manor, you live in Tampa, you plan on visiting, do not go to Franklin Manor because that man is still getting paid regardless. Stepping down does not mean fired, does not mean off payroll. He's getting paid.
He still owns that shit.
He still owns that shit. He just, his name and face isn't on it because, you know, he kind of ruined it for people. He's ruining it for their customer base. So I hope people know, just be smart and watch. Right now is a perfect time to watch how the companies that you're a consumer of or visitor of, as far as like clubs go, theme parks, etc., clothing brands, watch how they react in a time like this. And that'll tell you a lot about them. So
shit, we just saw Pokemon put out a statement. I was like, okay, Pokemon, I see
anyone
y'all.
who really cares about societal justice is speaking out right now. And you don't have to say, you know, fuck the police to say it. Just say, look, we love our community. And most of the American community is Black. That's how most people get their money. You know what I mean? Like, support local.
Black culture is pop culture.
Exactly. Hip hop culture, all that music, everything is influenced by the Black community. So why are we not respecting it as a whole?
Absolutely.
So I think companies speaking out is needed because they need to reassure their customers that they know what's right.
Absolutely. Yeah, for me, when this shit happened, though, it was like, I don't remember if it was the day before, like a couple days before, whatever the case is, but my birthday was last week. And it was just bubbling. And then, you know how it is, you get all the love, like it's like, all right, cool, boom, boom. You reposting stuff on your B-Day, but then, like, it just wasn't sitting right on my heart, man. Like, I was depressed once we, you know, got word about exactly what was going on. I was angry. I was frustrated. It was just a combination of just negative emotions because it's like, we hear again, like I said, we talk about this type of thing on this podcast
very often
for a reason. Like we could talk about the bubblegum shit that everybody wants to talk about, the fun stuff, of course, but I think it's very important that we stay in tune to what's going on in our country specifically. And this is a prime example. So just the fact that we have another Black man dead in the hands of somebody who's here to supposedly serve and protect, and just going into the you know, that racism that just is instilled in America, dog. Like, it just made me feel so hopeless at that time. But then after that, you see the protests happen, everybody coming together, different races, creed, colors, banding together for one cause, you understand? And seeing everybody come together, that lifted my spirits like so much. And just having it in our own areas that we were able to go out and protest and have our voices heard, and just being around that energy, that shit made me happy. But then on the flip side, once again, you start to see the people who are out there just to, you know, clout chase, whatever. You see people taking the pics and everything. Like, we ain't here for that. We here for the revolution. This shit will be televised, and we the ones that's going to lead this shit to the next level. Because, listen, our grandparents, the generations before them, they went through the same shit. So I was telling, like I said, Jay and I had a long conversation about this off mic. But it's like, I can't imagine like what they're thinking, just seeing us going through the same motherfucking thing that they did.
I'm sure they're proud because there's so many more than honestly anything I've seen or read in history books. There's so many more, you know, not only white, but Asian, Indian, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many other races that are defending the Black culture that it is something to admire, that everyone knows that everyone should be treated correctly. No one is better than the next. You feel me? And especially not an entire race. What the fuck does somebody's skin color have to do with anything? That's what I don't understand. It don't make you no better. It don't make you no worse. So it's nice to see that. Exactly. It's nice to see that there are a lot more, honestly, specifically, a lot more white people in the crowd. In Orlando alone, most of the protests were majority white people. So, like, obviously, we know, like, the looting and all that kind of, like, you know, sometimes it's outside forces that are doing it, and maybe they don't have the best intentions. But for the most part, yeah, there was a lot of peaceful protesters in Orlando yesterday and today, and majority of them were white. So it's crazy to see. Like, I'm sure our grandparents and our older generations are proud to see that, because technically they started the change that incited this change. So I know it sucks that we're still in this state of like oppression, but at least we're moving forward.
That was my thing. I think there's no way we can't be heard. Yeah. Not at this point.
No, because everyone is in on it. And that's the positive.
But we just got to see how long this continues. If I don't, like you said, I don't want it to just be a trend once everything just kind of comes to light and is handled, quote unquote, in the media's face and everything. I would expect people to continue to push the agenda to make sure that Black lives will continue to matter continuously, even after this has finally come to a settled point where the message has been heard, but I need it to be answered. I don't care if you hear me. I need you to answer. I need you to fix this shit. So that way, even after we push the agenda, I don't need to still feel that chip on my shoulder or that pressure on my neck when I leave my crib and I go out into the world. Because if I still feel like that, it's still going to be a fight. We still got this fight in battle, because people will tell me in due time, but they had told the previous generations in due time, and look where it's got us.
I mean,
absolutely,
you're seeing different.
So but I'm saying that I want I like where we're going, but I need us to continue to push that. I don't want it to be a trend. And
just happen one time.
And I could tell from people's shit, and I know the motherfuckers out there that are trending off of it, and I know the ones who are pouring their heart into it. And I have defaced maybe one or two people because I had caught them on their bullshit, and that's why I got emotional on it a few days ago, because it baffled me. And then I seen the ones who are putting in the blood, sweat, and tears into it, and putting the money up for it. I'm not gonna sit here and tell them what I had to do, because I feel like everyone should. Hey, look, I did this. Look at me. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the reason why I'm doing it. And exactly, just doing too much. And it sucks because nobody was ever talking about Black-owned businesses or trying to push, our community to the next level. We don't sit down and have these conversations about, marginalizing or putting money into these things to then essentially truly own the business, because some people say it's a black owned business, but it goes to somebody else. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I want that to still be a topic of conversation moving forward. I still want people to be like, hey, support these people, because essentially they have a voice, but we also have to be a voice for them. And that's why I'm blessed to be on this platform and to be able to continue to talk on it.
Absolutely.
And to push that forward.
Me and Kelly actually spoke on my podcast when I featured Kelly on it. Anybody who is listening, it is the episode called That's Cap. And we sat there and we dissected unpopular opinions from Twitter. And one of them actually was how Black owned businesses, basically they're not promoted in like a Black community. It's not popular to shed like light on generational wealth and like spending money on Black owned companies, et cetera, et cetera. So I feel you on that, because me and Kelly did touch on that, and we did say we agree. But I think that there are a lot more Black businesses coming out and growing. You see a lot more Black individuals, honestly, in the all types of industries. So I think it's just a time thing. I don't think that it'll be washed out.
I'm
honestly.
not. Yeah, I just hope it's not, but I will definitely continue to use this platform. But I'm not only going to say, let me not dumb it down to just Black-owned businesses. We definitely have to find a way to reroute where money goes in, put it into recreational centers for the youth. And
sure.
We need to find a way to stop the spending on things we don't need. We don't need to put more money into law enforcement, because we don't need more cops out there doing the same shit. We do need, if possible, if we can cut the funds so that way they could feel how we feel and start putting it back into the places that matter, because I always talk about how the hood is so bad and everything, but you won't put money back into the area to make it good. So that's why it's always a fight and battle. I don't want to hear none of that shit. So, and then when they feel that it no longer needs to be a thing, that's when gentrification happens and they come in and they establish their buildings and keep moving people, like maybe inner city, outer city. I'm not too sure how it all works, but we just need to recenter that as well. We need to make that a topic of conversation. We need to start truly donating to
businesses,
little, not only businesses,
gotta vote, man.
But just those, you
gotta put motherfuckers in position that have the way and the means to understand that they can make those decisions. Let's put more money into the neighborhoods. Let's make sure that we are nurturing these communities that have been systematically put down for generations. You understand? Exactly. So that's why, like, it pisses me off when I see people of privilege and they're like, "Oh, I don't understand, like the looting." Y'all motherfuckers wasn't listening before
to anything.
So it's like now, since people making a ruckus, whatever the case is, making sure y'all hear us. Now you got an issue with it? Nah, bro.
Word.
Like, you got to man the fuck up, man. We gonna be the ones to shake this shit up, and that's exactly what people got to do, man. Lock the fuck down. Vote for these, because everybody talks about the presidential shit. They never talk local, man. Do your motherfucking research.
That's where it starts.
See who's on these ballots. Do your research. See who you really, really fuck with, and their ideals align with yours, and vote, man. And vote, because that's gonna be one of the ways that we could do it. You know what I mean? Also, I was telling Jay, from the police side, they need to implement some sort of rules, like an eye for an eye thing, making sure that these cops is looking over one another. Like, if you bugging, like we seen multiple videos during the protests of one police officer correcting another one, like, you bugging, get the fuck out of here. That's the type of changes we need to see in law enforcement if we want to see this type of thing to be quelled. You know what I mean? You got to make sure there's more ethnic people in these positions to make sure that this shit don't happen, man. Like, I'm tired of turning my phone on. You used to say the TV and shit, right? Turning the TV on to see it. No, we on our phones now, going on Twitter and seeing another name, bro. Like, any of us could be a hashtag, dog, and that's the scariest shit of all time.
Yeah. And to big piggyback off of that, bro, that's a very big valid point, too. And we had this conversation off air, and we need to find a way to be able to intervene when we see a cop is abusing his power or doing something that's of unnecessary force to someone who is detained, and be like, hey, you're not thinking right.
Right.
Let me move you away, so that way you could clear your mind before you irrationally do something stupid that would inevitably leave someone dead, or put you in jail, or take you out of a job. You know what I'm saying? I think there needs to be a way to intervene when it's beyond political justice. Now it's literally a civil thing. So I don't know if there's something out there, because I don't think just recording and essentially putting it up on the media is like murder porn, because that's kind of what America's really into, is this murder porn. And
this shit is sickening.
I think it is, and I think we need to come to a point where we're like, hey, what can we do to be able to intervene and be like, hey, you're killing him. Let me step in and help you. What can I do so you don't kill him?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just, if I gotta fight it for a long time and find some way to implement that, I'm definitely pro that, because I'm tired of seeing it.
I think that deserves conversation, because I actually seen a woman had brought that up. Realistically, because there were people around George Floyd and many others that were murdered by the police, there usually is a witness. And they video record it and they say, hey, stop, they're dying or something's happening or you're hurting them. And the police, they take advantage of their power and they just keep doing what they're doing, and it ends in someone's death. But I think that it deserves conversation. Like, what would we do? What would you do if you were on the sidelines? Like, what is it possible for you to do? Because if you jump into it and you physically try to break it up or help, you can get shot or you can get trampled or you end up getting arrested. What can you realistically do in a moment like that? You really can't. The answer is that you really can't. You really can't do anything. So the conversation needs to be had, because people need to know that, honestly, the cell phones and all that is the reason why these police officers got their charges upped. Instead of 3rd-degree murder, now the guy David is getting 2nd-degree murder, and everybody else is getting charged because there was video footage of the brutality of it. So no, I don't think people should put their phones down, because realistically, they can't do anything else. You can yell and say that's wrong and video record it, but at least you have proof. You have the proof, and then maybe try to get another police officer to help. But it needs to be a systematic change. The people can't do that. It has to be a systematic change to prevent a cop from killing someone else. That's just the brutal, honest truth. It has to do with the system. So I don't know if police officers need to go through a social evaluation first, or a test, a fake test run of how they handle certain situations with people of color, and then be partnered up with somebody. I don't really know. I don't have the answer to that, but I know it has to be something else done within the approval for them to get their badge and with their training, because this is where the issue is. Anybody can become a cop. And that's the problem. They can pass the psych evaluation. They can do all that. You can't really prove that they're racist. It has to come out of their demeanor. It has to come out of their mouth.
Yeah, but even to root them out.
But even then, I've been thinking and watching the different videos from the protests and shit, it's the officers, but also it is the system that they're in, because there's multiple. I mean, we've seen it, bro. Our own, police officers, our government officials are putting and inciting certain things to get a row out of a crowd in order for these riots to happen. We've seen multiple times where these police officers in multiple cities around the U.S. are taking bottles of water and breaking them, opening them up so the protesters cannot even drink none of that. You know what I mean? So it's it's even deeper than that. So that's why when we first had this conversation, a couple of weeks ago, I think it was when Ahmaud Arbery passed, unfortunately. That's why I was like, I feel like this shit will never change. We just got to understand that we're going to do our best, and we can shift the paradigm, but there's always going to be those motherfuckers that's going to be looking at us jealous because we got that color and we got that flavor that, that they've been ingrained to hate. You understand? And that's the shit that makes me so tight. But what makes me happy is that I guarantee you, we're going to be the generation that's going to shift this shit to heights that motherfuckers never seen before, because we cannot be silenced, dog. We will not motherfucking be silenced. And that's what keeps me going. Because me personally, and Jay too, we've been in situations where the police have, fucked us over in a certain way and made us feel a certain way. And we were innocent. We've been in that position multiple times. I'm Puerto Rican. I'm black, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I 1000%. I'm going outside. They see me. I'm black. It's like, yeah, bro, what's up? This is my life. This is how I walk. This is how I talk. If you don't like it, it is what it is. So it hits a little different when you've been in those positions. But it feels great to know that people who weren't in those positions understand exactly what's going on, and they going hard right now. You know what I mean?
They know it's wrong.
I agree. Mm-hmm.
They know that what is going on is wrong, and I think that's the beautiful thing about it, is that everyone knows it's wrong. It's not a one group type of thing. It's all groups. It's all people.
Well, when you see the list of names, dog,
it hits different.
And that doesn't.
It's insane. It's fucking insane. And then just the different ranges, like
of age.
It's not even getting stopped. Well, age, but also the ranges in which it happened. Like, you could be in your own house and get shot by a police officer. You could be in the comfort of your own home and get killed. You understand? Mm-hmm. Like, there's so many different scenarios in which this has happened, and it fucking blows my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, that's why, like, when this whole, Blackout Tuesday, whatever happened, I'm like, all right, cool, that you could post that up. I understand where you're coming from, but make sure that you're doing your due diligence to educate yourself, donate to these different places, and really try to go for a change, because just posting a black picture on your IG is not enough. And I've seen a lot of motherfuckers, that's the first and last time I see them say something about this. Like, that's not enough. We said it earlier, this is a marathon. You got to be with us or you against us. Is that
I think
simple.
people understand.
That is a fact.
Understand?
I think they have a generalized idea.
I was
yet.
trying to let you finish what you were saying.
Facts.
Oh, my fault.
Sorry, I lost y'all. We're going to have to cut that out because I lost y'all. My bad. But I think that people understand that it's a marathon. Not everyone, of course, but I think the handful does, because I haven't had one day on Instagram that the people that I follow haven't spoke about it. I barely see promotions for things for the last 2 weeks. I haven't seen anything but this. So it's a great thing, and I think people are realizing that, like you said, it's a marathon. We want it for the long run. And it won't happen overnight, but it will happen in due time as long as we stay focused.
What I'm interested in seeing is, just the institutionalized racism that's being brought to light right now, just in America, period, not just in, the police enforcement, but also like these big companies that, we stand with y'all, Black Lives Matter and shit. And one thing that I'm big on that I love that people brought up was, that's cool. You can put your post up, whatever, but make sure you hire black as well. Make sure you have people of color in these boardrooms, your writers, whatever the case is, whatever big company you in, make sure you do that, because that's how you're going to continue to get the ball rolling. It's not just you put a post up and that's it, and then you got all these, white people up top while everybody else has to dig from the bottom. Nah, man, we got mad talent, and we the ones that can change the world. So it's important for these big companies to understand that, and to not only rely on these posts, but also hire black, 1,000%.
I agree 100%, bro.
So we gonna see, we gonna see what the fuck they're gonna do. You know what I mean? I'm gonna
look. The suggestions.
I told y'all, man. Like, it's been a full range of emotions, man. But like, I really went to that protest yesterday, and that type of energy was different. Like, I left so inspired by that shit.
Actually, was nice.
It's like, it's a fucked up situation, but yeah, it was smooth, man. Let me tell you, like, it was organized well. The people who actually put it together made sure that they had people, in the sections that weren't blocked off, that traffic was going. We had people, making sure the traffic got by. Nobody got, out of hand. Like, it was smooth, man.
I like how the country reacted to a dickhead of a president saying that he was going to declare martial law. And it's funny because the next day, every single protest was as peaceful as it could be. And it's like, the people are
1000%.
listening.
They were ramping up
and they really want change. You feel me? So it's like, who's the bad guy here?
That's a good point.
Now y'all see who the bad guy is.
That's a very good point. But I guarantee you, he's one of those motherfuckers. He'll just be like, "Oh yeah, that happened because
yeah,
I brought the military."
Yeah.
No, motherfucker, that's not what happened.
Fuck that nigga.
Facts. I've never seen someone in a position of leadership, especially a president, divide the country as opposed to bringing them closer in this type of situation. Like this shit is fucking mind blowing. I have no clue how the fuck this motherfucker and his red tie are still in that fucking office or in the bunker, wherever the fuck he at. This shit is mind blowing to me, dog. Like, shit is crazy.
I think it's crazy because over and over again, we see, and not only us, I know the Electoral College and Senate, they all see that he doesn't know how to react to situations with his own people. So you expect this man to protect a nation if he can't even, from other nations, when he can't even protect his own people from each other.
Bro, his own Secretary of Defense echoed what I just said. He's like, he just dividing the country when we supposed to be getting together. Like, what's up?
Bro, this man's he's literally the incarnation of the devil.
Well, he's exactly what people who didn't want him to get voted for president said he was, and the world is seeing it. I think even Republicans
Absolutely.
that are not racist are seeing that, like, oh my God. Yeah, like, what did we do? Now it's too late.
Well, listen, elections coming up. Let's see.
Elections are coming up. That is a big fact. Bro, keep pushing it, man. Tell them to vote this nigga out. Put somebody we need in.
Like at first, I thought that he was going to run away with it, with just the way our country was and all that. But once this hit, and the way that he's been, reacting with everything and his quote unquote leadership, I don't know, maybe open. But the thing is, on the other side, it isn't too good either. You know what I mean? Like Biden, like he's a fucking lame
he was
too,
wilding, honestly.
Word. Yes, it's Tale of Two Cities, man.
Facts. That's the difficult part, man. But you got to make difficult decisions. So
yeah. Do you want a bad apple or a rotten apple?
Hello.
It's like, I don't know. But I definitely don't want that rotten motherfucker anymore. So get this man out of here.
He's showing his colors way too much, man.
Yeah, he look like he's a carrot. With a 2K.
What is it called?
Fucking carrot.
That nigga Charmander is straight orange. Listen, man. We'll see. We have a lot. We got a lot of progress to go, but you know what? I'm happy to see, where we're at right now as a country, like the level-headedness that we're seeing right now, and just everybody galvanizing together. Even like Obama going on a Zoom call today, just talking like, I feel better. My guy is back. You know what I mean? He's activated.
Yeah, man. Took him a minute. I mean, not really took him a minute, but it finally reached that point.
He was chilling. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna enjoy my time off, and then he's like, nah, I gotta throw that superhero tie back on. You know what I mean?
I appreciate that, man.
What if he was like, yo, by the way, 2020, I'm running out of nowhere.
Boy,
he's like, oh shit!
They're like, this nigga, bro. He's like, well, if Trump can implement his own shit and go against the grain and shit, I could go for a third time.
He said, yo, you ain't hear Bro Obama back? Bro Obama's back, bro. Like, yo.
That's the Brody for sure.
Yeah, man. That's what I'm talking about. That's why I love chopping it up with y'all every week. We always keep it real, and we always get these sort of like ideas and that just like creative flow going for everybody that listens. So I really do appreciate
we love
y'all
you
for chopping it up this week. You know what I mean? That's a fact. Love is love, man. Like we got together like the other week. We was chilling. We like, nah, we getting close, bro. We got to get this shit together. So, another year. I mean, another year, another week. We here. We back. And we'll see what happens, y'all.
Yes, indeed.
Now, I mean, just stay safe out there. If you're protesting, you already know. Stay safe. Educate yourself. Keep donating. Keep signing these petitions. RIP to everybody we've lost. Of course, to police brutality, or the ones that we don't even know. You understand, and haven't been recorded.
Exactly.
As well, we got to make sure that they don't get lost. And cheers to changing and shifting the paradigm of this culture. You know what I mean? Because we starting right here.